Hello everybody, I've made a quick guide for the Flyff dungeon NV Depths to help any new players out who have just hit 121 and who are looking to start running groups with pugs and with their guilds. The focus for the video is entirely based on just doing the nightmare runs, so the strategy that we're going to be looking at is pretty straightforward and pretty basic, given that NV is one of the easiest dungeons. I'm not going to be looking into any of these solo strats or any advanced strats that might exist. The idea is, again, just for the video to be as beginner friendly as possible. As I've already mentioned, NV is the easiest of the 3 nightmare dungeons that you'll be running regularly at a high level. The reason for that is there are some mechanics and they do require you to do things, pretty much just move, but we'll go over that as we get through it. But compared with Storm Peaks or Guardian, it's going to be way easier, especially for some newer guilds who are looking to start out doing nightmare runs. I'm going to break down the guide into 4 different areas. So the first pools, second pools, the location of the first mid cage. Third, we're going to be looking at the Siren, so positioning for that fight, and then lastly Kraken, positioning, and then also the location of the last cage. Once you spawn in and buff up, the tank is going to be looking to run around and gather overgrown sharks. If you're in a lower level group or the tank doesn't have amazing gear yet, you should just look to pull 1 pack at a time. When you're pulling, aim to pull between 30 and 40 sharks, gather them up and then AoE them all down together. If you're in a higher level group, you can opt to do a double pull. So for this, what you'll want is a fast and durable class like a ranger to pull simultaneously with the tank. If you do it right, you'll clear the first part of the dungeon in just 1 AoE. If you are going to do it though, make sure to connect both pulls to the same point to make sure that both pullers are getting heals from your ringmasters and that all the DPS can just focus on one location. Once you've finished clearing all of the overgrown sharks, you want to completely avoid killing any of the mermaid beauties. They do a pretty nasty debuff that reduces the damage that you do. Thankfully though, there aren't too many, so for this what you want to do is follow your ranger. They should run through all of the mermaid beauties, draw in all their aggro, and once you're through, the tank can then start pulling the turtles and the mermen who are just positioned after them. After that, your ranger can then use Dark Illusion. This way you can essentially skip having to kill any of them altogether. You can choose whether to single pull or double pull all the mobs here, but the key thing is make sure you clear all 200 to get the Siren to spawn. If you don't have a ranger to pull the mermaid beauties and use Dark Illusion, it's still completely fine. Just have your tank run past them and then when they're out of aggro range, start collecting the turtles and the mermen. You'll need to do a few pulls to get the required 200 kill count, maybe more if you miss some of the sharks. There are plenty of mobs here, but the turtles specifically have way more HP, so the more sharks you kill in the first section, the easier the second section is going to be. As you're finishing off the 200 KC, you'll want to get someone to go and loot the first mid cage. It's always in the same location, right in the centre of the area, surrounded by the turtles. On the map it's in the middle of the dungeon too, so it's pretty easy to spot. Continue through the dungeon and you're going to find the Siren. She's super simple and only has 3 mechanics. The first attack is a small red AoE called Silent Arrow. If you stand in this, you're going to take some damage and you're going to be stopped from using any spells. The second attack she does is a much bigger AoE. This does a little bit more damage and it's also going to stop you from moving by reducing your speed to 0. The last mechanic she has is to spawn adds. So these adds are health linked with the boss, meaning that neither the adds or the boss can die until they're brought down to about 30% health. You should keep focusing the boss even when the adds spawn, and then once she's low enough, switch over to the adds. Now that you're done with the Siren, you've just got to kill the Kraken. The Kraken is super easy and also only has 3 mechanics. However, it is important to remember that the Kraken does cleave, so make sure your DPS are standing together behind or to the side of the boss, positioned with the ringmaster so they can benefit from GT. The first mechanic that he does are small red AoEs. They deal a lot of damage, but they don't have any debuffs. The second is a large AoE, which deals a lot more damage, but it also applies a debuff. So the debuff gives you 100% extra damage, but also makes you take 100% extra damage. If you have 2 ringmasters, they should be looking to barrier the tank and any melee DPS to maximise the damage output. The last mechanic is to spawn adds. These adds again are a health link to the boss. The strategy for dealing with this is going to be a little bit different from the Siren though. Focus the boss down to about 30% HP and then get your ranged DPS to switch over to the adds. That way you can cleave the boss and the adds down together and finish them off all at once. The only thing to be aware of now is just the position of the last mid cage. Super easy to spot and it's right next to the exit of the dungeon. Thank you all for watching the video, I really hope it was useful. Let me know in the comments if you liked it or if you want to see more. Thanks a lot guys, bye.